This is Getting On With Life, Biblical Wisdom for Successful Christian Living. And this title is Beware Reacting. Are you the type of person who gasps or leaps up in reaction or stews over things that upset you? It's normal for us to feel offended and to feel like doing something in response. However, the Bible shows that reacting quickly is unwise. In fact, reacting at all can be quite a problem for us. We need to act, not react. Solomon, in his wisdom, extols the value of being slow to respond, rather than hasty to react. In Proverbs 14:29 he says, "Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly." And in Proverbs 15:18 he says, "A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger calms dispute." In Ecclesiastes 7:9 he says, "Do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger settles in the lap of a fool." And Proverbs 25:8 says, "Do not rush out hastily to an argument, or you'll be confounded in the end when your neighbour has put you to shame." A person of wisdom and self-control does not need to react to things. They know that they are better off to act wisely, despite provocations. If you react quickly, you are vulnerable to those who provoke you. I joined a group of friends many years ago for their weekly meal. After the meal, as the men sat around chatting, someone picked up a topic that quickly stirred debate. One man in particular became quite animated, much to the amusement of the others. Later I was told that the man always reacted like that, so every week someone would provoke him into his agitated ravings. That man never realized he was being mocked, too set on reacting to even realize what was going on. King Solomon points out that it takes great strength and understanding to resist reacting. In Proverbs 17:27 he tells us, "A man of knowledge restrains his words, and a man of understanding keeps a cool head." In Proverbs 16:32 he says, "He who is slow to anger is better than a warrior, and he who controls his temper is greater than one who captures a city." And a key aspect of being an action rather than a reaction is to be able to overlook and even forgive offenses. In Proverbs 19:11 we are told, "A man's insight gives him patience, and his virtue is to overlook an offense." In New Testament times, Christians are instructed to avoid being a reaction. Rather than reacting in kind, we are to be an action of godliness. In James 1:19 we are told, "Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger." 1 Peter 3:9 tells us, "Do not repay evil with evil, or insult with insult, but with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing." Jesus was a wonderful example of not being provoked, despite the terrible things done to him. In 1 Peter 2:23 we are told, "When he was reviled, he did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued trusting himself to him who judges justly." And in Isaiah 53:7 we are told, "He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he kept silent. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is mute, so he did not open his mouth." Some people don't react outwardly, but stew on things inwardly. If you do that, realize the offense you suffered is eating you up. You may not be reacting publicly, but you are still reacting. It's probably worse to be eaten up inside than to erupt outwardly. When you are stewing on what someone said or did, or how you've been treated, those thoughts dominate you, taking up mental and emotional energy, provoking you to thoughts of getting even, or clearing your name, or getting some advantage. You are being controlled by the offense instead of by the Lord. You have given up control of your life and actions and handed the reins to a bad feeling. Your answer is to give your upset feelings to the Lord and trust God to look after the matter. Proverbs 20:22 tells us, "Do not say, 'I will get revenge.' Wait on the Lord, and he will deliver you." Jesus taught that rather than reacting to an offense, we are to be ready to be offended again, absorbing it and not reacting. We refer to that as turning the other cheek. In Luke 6:29, Jesus said, If someone slaps your cheek, turn the other to them as well. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. Some people think it is noble to react, such as standing against injustice. There are people who are quick to run to someone's defense if that person is insulted or offended. Noble as that seems, it must be measured against the Word of God. It is much better to take action against injustice than to react to it. A reaction tends to be hasty and spontaneous, causing you to get involved in the argument. An action can be thought out and guided by wise counsel. If the problem is not ours, be very careful about jumping into it. It is not wise, but it can also get you caught up in strife that is not good for anyone. Proverbs 26:17 warns us, "Someone who meddles in someone else's quarrel is like one who grabs a dog by the ears." If you jump in to defend someone and end up in a fight, then you are effectively a brawler and fighter yourself. It's no use saying, "He started it," because you are caught acting like an angry, aggressive, and quarrelsome person. If you see the problem and get wise counsel about how to tackle it, you can do much more good for those who are being oppressed. If you are given to reacting with a quick tongue or hasty response, that reveals something is out of order inside you. At least you don't have wisdom. So catch yourself and note your outbursts. Ignore the excuses you use for doing it and find out what you need to give to God so you can be wise and have self-control. As you journey in your walk with the Lord, beware reacting. God bless you.